I've always been a weird kid. Ever since I can remember, I really just thought that I just didn't get the rules of this reality. I didn't understand why people put so many limitations on themselves, and it was almost heartbreaking as a kid to just have such a fully realized idea of and sense of self and live in a world that had no sense of its own self.
Ooh, time to get up. Everybody been sleeping too long. Consider this your wake-up call, cause we're gonna get together and change it all. Make a world where we all wanna live. Gonna dance and get funky, forget and forgive. Freaks, geeks, wonderful weirdos. Get up, it's time to be heroes.
A new study finds there is a worldwide lack of self-esteem.
You know, as a kid, my intentions were good, and I've just always respected people and culture and just been so fascinated by the ideas that people come up with and how they shape the world and how it functions. I was definitely an outcast as a kid. And did I want to be accepted? Of course. And did I want to be loved? Yes. But I think the thing that separated me from most kids is that I wasn't going to compromise to who I was to find that love and acceptance. I wasn't going to fall in line to be accepted by people who don't even accept themselves. It just never made sense to me. I knew that somewhere out there were people just like me, and I was going to keep being my true self until I found those people. And this was before the days of the internet, so I had no way of, I just had to know in my heart that people are just as weird as I am, because those around me were telling me that I was strange and I was different and there was something wrong with me because of who I was. And I just somehow, thankfully, had such a strong opinion of myself and a belief in myself that, there's nothing wrong with me. And as an adult, I realized that, we grow up and we see that the only people that change the world are people that are weird and different and push people into realms of thinking outside of the norm. Because if we don't have people constantly pushing the envelope, then we stagnate, and there's always this box, I feel like, that is growing tighter and tighter around humanity, and that's conformity. And then you have artists and free thinkers who are constantly trying to push back that box. And if you didn't have the artists and free thinkers, then we would all be so constricted by this box that everything would be so orderly, so uniform, that it would just be the world would be a bland nightmare. And that's why artists are truly important, and people don't even realize it. But yet, arts programs are the first things to be defunded and taken away in schools, and because our society wants us to just be worker drones that just feed the machine, and that's not our purpose. Our purpose isn't to feed some self-imposed prison that we've created. Our purpose is to create and enjoy that creation and embrace that creation and create with others. Like, the realm of art is so beautiful because the realm of art embraces differences. It doesn't shun them. And that's why I believe we can bring people together through art and through ridiculous things and through fun things. Imagination is what changes the world. Imagination is what pushes us above and beyond, because somebody looked into outer space and said, well, hey, we can get there. We just got to figure it out. But everybody else is like, whoa, no, no, no. I always use the analogy, if I hadn't seen someone do a backflip, I would think backflips are fucking impossible. So therefore, I would never attempt to do a backflip, because I wouldn't even try. I wouldn't even think that no matter how long I train, how much mind I put into this, I would think a backflip is impossible because I had not seen one. So it's important for people to do creative backflips and societal backflips and show the people that, hey, there are other things out there. Challenge the norm. So growing up with this appreciation of imagination and a strong sense of self, life has a way of repeatedly stamping that out of you, even in the strongest of selves. But I believe that's the process. That's part of why we're here. Is every good song, they say, is it's not one note. There's ups and downs, and a whole symphony is you know, multiple parts playing in rhythm and ups and downs. There's sad parts, there's happy parts, there's exciting parts. That's beautiful. That's a rhythm, and that's how you should live. So I believe there is a hidden hand guiding us, and, you know, to what seemed like good and bad to us are really just tools of learning on a universal scale. So at some point, I don't know, and I became an alcoholic. You know, these things sort of just happen sometimes, and you don't even really know why or how you got there in the first place. You just, next thing you know, it's 6 years have passed, and you can barely remember a few months out of that six years, man. Spent about 6 years in the darkness, and it was just getting progressively worse. But this year, I finally came back from it. I reconnected spiritually, and a big theme in this show is I will talk about irreverentism. To me, spirituality is completely unique to everyone, as it's more just as their DNA or fingerprint is completely unique to everyone. So I'm not saying there's like you have to define it as any sort of God or anything like that, but I plugged back in to the universe, and what it led me back to is that joy as a kid, that wonder, that excitement, that imagination. So I finally reconnected with my inner child, but I had the experience and the perspective of someone who went through the dark. So I went to the dark places in your lives are, if you look at them the right way, they're beautiful places to bring back knowledge. I look at them as like Dungeons and Dragons. Like, you go to these deep, dark dungeons that are full of danger and dark things, but that's where all the good treasure is. The trick is you gotta make it back alive. And now that I'm back, I have this experience, I have this perspective that I can help other people. And I came back to a world that is disconnected and people aren't plugged into it. And it's sad. It's not sad because I know it's a part of our growth. But now that I've plugged back in and I've reconnected with who I am and the fulfillment that I found, I realized that that was the fulfillment that I was searching for this whole time that I unplugged myself. So we really just got to get back to ourselves. And I want to radically reshape the way people think and the way that people limit ourselves. We're so limited as a society, and we have a huge problem with self-esteem. Nobody believes in themselves anymore, so how are they going to believe in anybody else? My whole point with this show is to document my process. Documenting my journey on this is going to actually examine a lot of things in society. It's going to examine things that go viral. How do you get things to go viral? What goes viral? Who decides what goes viral? Is it the people, or is it the internet, or is it the algorithms somewhere in between those things? Will people care about changing the world? Can we make changing the world fun and interesting enough that where people will care about that more than bitching about the season finale of Game of Thrones, or just constantly bitching about entertainment and stories that aren't even their own? Like, we have to remind people that we're the authors of our story. And in any other fantasy realm, our realm would be a fantasy realm. So we need to play by the rules of this realm, and we could do amazing things, but everybody's so checked out and everybody's looking for the next fix of something else. But what they're truly looking for is to be plugged back in. And this is what I want to do. This is my goal. I want to bring people together, and I want to show the world that together, anything is possible. We truly can create a world where everyone has the freedom to express themselves and create, and that world can exist. It absolutely can. And the people that are so, I don't believe anybody is too far gone, but the people that are all the way at one end of a spectrum, they're just hurt and they're just confused. They're just looking for meaning, and they think they found it. And so they cling to these hateful ideas that give them a sense of purpose and a sense of backing. Again, the masses of people, the problem here with any society problem is that we have people that are grouped up and sharing the same broken belief. But all we need to do is start showing those people little by little that that belief is broken. And then once we have the majority of the people living through non-broken beliefs, then we can truly recondition society and help people reconnect to ways of living that lead to fulfillment and joy and creation and amazing things. Like, this is possible, but we just have to get people to give a shit. If we can get people to think, then we can get things to change. So that's my spiel for this show, and I'm going to be documenting this, all of the pitfalls, all of my attempts at trying to get something to stick. I've been trying for a while now. This is the first time, you know, a lot of what I've been doing to succeed on the internet is promoting my art, and this is still a huge goal of mine, because I'm a creator at heart. And I want to share my ideas and my creatures and my sleazy monsters with substance abuse problems. I want to share that with the world too. This is, but also I recognize that we all have a higher obligation to us as a whole, because we are all one. And so we should all be working collectively and individually to find fulfillment in our lives. And this show is documenting my quest to find collective fulfillment. And along the way, share my individual fulfillment with the world too. So basically it all boils down to, this is only what I'm trying to do. So what am I trying to do? Well, here's the thing. So first of all, you look at social media influencers, and they have crazy amounts of clout, and like, basically, I mean, practically they're cult leaders. They really, like, if you just look at it, like, that's what it is. Like, somebody with 4 million followers posts about a product they like, and then their 4 million followers are clamoring to get that product. Like, they're shaping the way that people live and the things that they pursue. So what I want to do is I got to get to that clout status, and then see what we can do to use that clout to actually enact meaningful change and bring people together in fun, ridiculous ways. I don't even have all the answers, and I don't really even know where to begin, but what I do have is a desire to find the answers. And that alone is something strong. You know, an inferno is started with a single spark of intention, and I want to be that spark. And because I believe that we can all be doing so much better. This world can be so much better. And the reason why we're all trying to escape it through drugs, alcohol, other means, fantasy, video games, stories, the reason why we're trying to escape it is we're collectively building a reality in a world that nobody wants to live in. So everybody's either jumping ship, or they're just listening to the music as the Titanic sinks, saying, hey guys, everything's fine, this is fine, it's all fine. So what we need to do is get people excited about life again. We need to get people to care, to be involved, and I got to figure out how we could do that. But it's not just me. I need your help too, because I only have so much individual power, and together we can move mountains, you know? So a big part of this show, here's the crazy part. It's like a fun, self-fulfilling, self-generating hype machine. I document my quest to gain internet clout, and then the subsequent quest of wielding that clout to figure out what we can accomplish and have fun doing it. The more viewership we get, the more clout we get. The more clout we get, the more viewership we can get. And then it turns into this big self-fulfilling hype generation machine where, you know, if anything goes viral on the internet, if enough people just post about something, click retweet on something, just that. Like, you don't even have to take to the streets. The world is taking to the streets right now, and the world is fighting for freedom that we already have as Americans. And what are we doing with that freedom? We are not wielding it in the most fun and creative ways. No, we're taking it for granted, and we're complaining about TV shows and just everything. Anything that comes out, like the things that are supposed to make us happy now don't even make us happy. We're like, fucking, that ending sucked, this episode sucked, why'd they get this director? It's like, we all forgotten that, like, we have a life that we're living. We're living a collective story. And what do we want that story to be? Because right now, society is on autopilot. Well, it's been on autopilot, and the car is just like crashing itself grinding into the curb right now. But the world is waking up. And since I connected with spirituality, that's a big message that I've been getting from the universe, is that pay attention, people are going to start waking up. That's what I heard at the beginning of this year. And now look, the world is waking up. Everybody is saying, fuck this anti-corruption, or fuck this corruption government shit. And we've had enough. And people are literally dying in the streets for something that we already have and we're taking for granted. So what I want to do is show people, like, this is what's possible. And when the world sees what we've done when we come together, that'll inspire waves after waves of people around the world to see this freedom and say, hey, we want that too. So we have to stand with all of these people that are standing up for their own freedom and actually become engaged again. We have to be a society that actually cares about the issues, because this is a problem. And this is why I love Trump. Don't take that out of context. The one thing that he did was actually get people to give a shit about politics, myself included. I was so apathetic. The electoral college system is so broken. Like, it didn't feel like it mattered, so I never voted. But boy, do I give a shit now. And we all need to be given a shit. And we need better ways. Most of us don't even know how our own government works. Isn't that, like, sad? I was talking to someone from Switzerland, and they're so involved. They know what's up. They know how their government works, and shit gets done there. We're so disconnected even from our own government. That's why nothing gets done. So it's my hopes and my dream that this show starts on fun stuff, and it's always going to be fun. But eventually, if we get enough clout, we could actually inspire true change in our electoral system, true change in the way that our country is run, in the way that we live our lives, because we've come together. So this is the mission statement that I'm laying out, and I need your guys' help. So please subscribe to the youtube.com/Ransig. This is where the show's going to be. Also, I'm going to be supplementing episodes of the show with my podcast, Signeutron Sputron. And if you want to know more about who I am and my values, then give my podcast a listen, because I get really in-depth and deeply dive into my thoughts on spirituality, my thoughts on existence, and so you can really get to know me and see what kind of person is leading this charge to get people to give a shit again and have fun with life. And then I feel like Twitter is going to be a really important tool on this. Well, actually, I'm going to be tackling, so at Signeutron on Twitter, but also I'm going to be tackling the issues of how Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, all of these think that they're gaining way too much power, and they're actually censoring us, and you might not even know it. But as artists, oh boy, do we know it. And I always say, the artists, we're the canaries in the gold mine, man, or the coal mine, or whatever. We're feeling the effects of internet censorship way before the rest of you, because our livelihoods depend on our reach. All right, so as we document this journey, I might as well start off with our social media stats here, and we're going to see as they rise, hopefully. They will, being positive thinking. So on Twitter, we're starting this whole shenanigan with, I have 15.5K followers on Twitter. Okay. Not too shabby, but not going to change the world status. And for our YouTube channel, we have 1.46K subscribers. So that's an odd way to put it, but we have like basically 1,400 subscribers on YouTube at the start of this experiment. So those are our starting stats, and I'm going to be documenting them throughout the process, because that's where we're seeing if we're starting to reach people or not. So back to the show. Well, here I am, sick as a dog, and just trying to figure out what this show is going to be, how it's going to flow. I don't know. I just want everybody to live in a world where we're connected, we're plugged in, and we're all conscious creators, and we're working towards a world that we want to live in, and that everybody is free to creatively express however they want. I've always loved the hero's journey, and and I guess this is where my journey begins. Is in my studio, sick, wearing a thing that my mom knitted for me. And my ears are kind of getting cold, so I'm going to put it down. I've spent a lot of work this year basically trying to find myself again. And now that I'm starting to find myself and realize who I am and get back to the things that are important to me, I realize that there's a whole world of people out there that needs help finding themselves too. Living in America, it's easy to take for granted what we have. And I see people working jobs that they hate and living life completely unsatisfied. This is our existence, and we can shape it into anything that we want to shape it into. And if that's not exciting, then I don't know what is. Like, the world is fighting for the opportunity to shape their life into whatever they want. And now we already have that freedom. So what are we going to do with it? So here we go, the humble beginnings of the Netwielder. Where this story goes, it's up to you guys. From Vendetta said, you know, a revolution without dancing is a revolution not worth having. So let's dance our asses off, let's have some fun, and let's make some change. And together we will wield the power of the internet. I am but a simple catalyst to bring everyone together. And throughout the evolution of this show, I'm going to be listening to you guys. I'm going to be holding discussions. I want to get guests on, and I want us to talk about the problems of today and how we can find ourselves and who we are and who we want to be. That's truly the heart of this show, is who are we and who do we want to become? And I think that's a question that's a very simple question, but it is very hard to answer, and it's impossible to answer when no one's asking it. So this is the potion that I want to quest to you. This is the question that I want to pose to you, is who are you and who do you want to become? The format of the show will be evolving as it goes. Right now, this is just sort of vlog, blown out lighting, you know, not many bells and whistles, but it's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. We got to get the ball rolling. A lot of the times I try really hard and I don't. And this goes for all of us too, all of us creatives or anybody that's just trying to do something, is when you don't get any feedback, even if people are secretly watching your stuff and they're enjoying it, if you don't hear that and you just think you're just kind of screaming into the void, and you know, we need to hear back from the void, because that keeps us going, that keeps us motivated. If you plant an idea in enough minds, then that becomes reality. So what ideas can we plant in the minds of the world, and what ideas can we grow to reality? Like, what paradise or hell can we come up with? Like, it's all up to us. It's always been up to us. The purpose and the point of life is what we make it. Isn't that amazing and profound and exciting? You know, we're all looking for, what is the meaning of life? Well, when you look for the meaning, you forget that the meaning is the quest. It's the journey. It's what you make it. All right, so I just did that. Throughout the call to arms, I just posted the podcast episode with the Netwielder pitch. And it's got this like fantasy weird vibe to it, and I'm trying to spice it up, make it fun. It's going to be weird. I don't know if people are going to get it, but that's just me. I'm weird, and I never know if people are going to get me, but I got to be me. Let's see where it goes from here. The ball is in the world's court.
It's possible, it's a state of mind. Is that how you really want to define your time on the planet? Doesn't have to grind. Every moment is precious, everyone is divine.
Well, I certainly didn't expect to start a revolution overnight, but it is kind of not good for the morale to see the interaction that I got on the launch of the idea. So let's just see exactly how much interaction we did get. All right, so let's see here. On Facebook, I posted the big grand spiel and a link to the thing, and I got 1 like and 6 comments, but which like 5 of those are mine responding to a single comment. And the video I posted to build some hype, I got 5 comments, 20 likes, 1 share, and 106 views on the video. Then I shared a GIF of this buck fucking a fake buck, and its head falls off, which that is fucking funny, but that got 66 shares and 73 likes. It's good to know that buck fucking, and I mean, it's good to know where people's priorities are. Not gonna get discouraged though, and because we're just getting started. So, so at this point, and this is kind of the thing that I keep struggling with and trying to get something gain traction or float some kind of idea that would hold weight, is I'm left wondering, is my idea not good enough? Or, you know, are people not interested? Am I not spinning it the right way? Or is it the fact that social media, the algorithms aren't showing it to people? Like, is the subject matter, you know, too inspirational? Like, I don't know. See, that's my big problem, and that's what I struggle with trying to stay motivated, is that I can't figure out if people just aren't into it or if the internet is just not showing it to people. I spend a lot of time on something, like I thought that was a pretty cool podcast. Fun, like I'm framing it in a fun, like we can create our own fantasy world. So like in any other fantasy realm, our realm would be a fantasy realm. So like, I don't know, let's make it exciting. Let's do like I'm offering people a chance to like tell an amazing story that we can all be a part of and actually like change this world we live in. But it doesn't seem like, at least at this point, or at least right off the bat, I definitely haven't found the audience. And, you know, I wasn't expecting to, so I'm not super bummed or anything. We're just documenting the process. So I'm going to try. Sometimes I do a lot of like typed out posts that get a lot of traction. For my Fuck's Sake America, I used to do a whole bunch of posts about what I think is fucked up with America. So I'm gonna try taking the transcript of the podcast and putting it into a post on Facebook, and let's see how that goes. Here I am. I'm Morpheus, offering the red pill. Do you want to join me and see how far this rabbit hole goes? All you have to do is spread the word. You just got to help me get traction, and then from there, we'll reconvene and we will see what we can do from there. But first, our first mission is getting traction. So that's really easy to do. Like if you're inspired by what I've said, share this video. Just share it. That's it. That's all you got to do. Subscribe to YouTube and share this video. There's so many people that ask for that, but I'm actually offering something in return, and it's to change the world that we live in. And if you're not excited about that, like I don't know, man. Then I feel like we're all hopeless if nobody's excited about changing the world in fun and crazy ways. Maybe it's just me, but each week I'll be tackling different societal issues and have fun ways that we can fix them. So, and also I'll just, you know, I've been doing a lot of thinking about life and general since I've reconnected with myself. So I'll be injecting a lot of the episodes with healthy doses of philosophy and just thought-provoking content. I just want to get you guys thinking again, because like I said, if we can get people to think, then we can get things to change. And I truly believe in my heart of hearts that we can build a world where we all want to live in.
So join me next time on Netwielder to see if this video actually sparked any kind of interest and to see if I'm inspiring anybody. So, you know what's fun? Is that's all up to you. So share the shit out of this video and subscribe to the YouTube. And let's make it fucking interesting. It's fuck story. Fuck it fuck. Breaking news. There seems to be a